Now, like the people I'm responding to, I also watched Shrek as a movie, but I won't say that I like it now. It actually was kind of disgusting watching it as an adult. Too many unpleasant jokes, things like that. I don't really like those things in films, and I don't think they should be in films for children or for adults. I think they just bring us down to a lower level. But this video saying, "Oh, Lord Farquaad obviously isn't the villain," it's given me an opportunity to actually talk about something a bit more in depth than what they present, because I think they're completely wrong. I'm going to explain why, but I think it can help us think about how human beings behave. Because really, I think it's pretty clear from the movie, if you look at it, that it's basically a bunch of boomers and probably a bunch of Gen Xers. Because what was it released in, like 2000? They're trying to make Boomer Hitler. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to do funny mustache man, but in an animated movie. And how do you actually figure that out? Why is that true? It's because it's really not because he's trying to serve his people. That's the thing that they say, oh, it's orderly, there's no crime. Yeah, but you look at the internals of Duloc and you see immediately there's no one walking around. There's nobody there, right? So you've got this perfectly organised city that's completely empty, right? So there's no people in the city. Second of all, there's no answer as to whether or not the fairy tale creatures are actually there with his population, or whether his population came in and replaced them, or what have you, right? So really, we could be talking about Farquaad Ben Gavir here, right? He could have just completely replaced the fairy tale creatures and then just built some sort of ordered society on top of it, right? So we could be dealing with something like that. And even if they were there together with, well, the normal people, for lack of a better term, right? He actually isn't acting in the interests of his own people, because the fairy tale creatures would constitute part of his people, right? Like, they have the same kind of intellect as a human being. They might be a nuisance, but they're still citizens. So really what he's doing is he's ethnically cleansing part of his people, potentially, for the benefit of some other group that he's decided there, right? And besides this, right, you can tell that he's a very egotistical man. I mean, come on, right? Like, they literally make Farquaad short, right? Not subtle. He's short. He says it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make when he sends out the knights, right? Like, you know, usurping the lives of other people for his own ends, right? Like a certain funny mustache man. Ironically as well, actually, this is kind of like the stereotype of boomers, which I think, at least in my own life, perhaps this is because I'm in Britain and not America, I think it's kind of overplayed when it comes to boomers. I don't think they're that selfish in my experience, right? But it kind of plays into the stereotype of a boomer, because the boomers, insofar as they're portrayed online, which I don't think is true, are essentially people who take advantage of other people for the sake of their own kind of hedonic enjoyment, right? And Farquaad is, ironically, doing something like that, but instead of being hedonistic, he's kind of a clean freak, right? Like, even the trees are square, right? The trees don't follow their nature, they follow this kind of externally enforced order, almost like a managerial kind of system. It's almost like Farquaad Ben Gavir is this manager who has to tweak and force natural forms into these horribly artificial structures, like kind of a Procrustean bed kind of thing going on, right? Like, I don't know, your manager at work trying to make you fill out timesheets for work, and then you fill in 50 billion hours where you couldn't get anything done for whatever reason, but then the work that actually matters happens in 15 minutes, right? It's basically Farquaad trying to impose his own ego on reality. That's why he's evil, and that's implied at loads of different points in the movie. Of course, you've seen Duloc, you've seen him asserting his power over other people, you see him essentially engineering things so he can be a perfect king, not because he wants to benefit his people. I mean, he already has the power, right? If he wanted to benefit his people, he could do that without a title. But he's essentially doing this for a title, kind of throwing a fit, like a little child, Like, he's the kind of person who would, like, try and bribe somebody for their prize, Like, this is childish and egotistical behaviour, right? And that is why he's evil. The reason he's evil isn't because he's able to trim the trim the trees in such a way that they are perfectly square. He's not evil per se because of that, or because of cleanliness or destroying crime. As if we should just treat people who are, for example, they mentioned fentanyl addicts in the first video, as if we should treat these people who have made some really stupid decisions and are a pain in the bum at the very least, if not dangerous at most, as if we should just forget that these are human beings and, throw them into the gas chamber, as if we as human beings have a right to do that, right? He's actually evil because he's extremely arrogant, which is the root of sin, right? That, like St. Gregory the Great, commenting on the Book of Job, he calls pride the super sin, right? It's the place that enables us to commit every other sin, be it greed, be it lust, be it any other thing, right? And obviously, Farquaad is portrayed in a comical way as having this in droves. I mean, like I say, he's short, right? He's short, he bickers, he tries to get things that he wants in the manner of a child. And that's really what the movie is saying. It's a kind of a weird boomer Gen X Hitler, really. Which, again, is kind of ironic considering how they, at the very least, are behaving. And really how a lot of people behave now. Because a lot of people will just throw others under the bus and use them and manipulate them for the sake of their own ends. I mean, I'm sure you can think of some people in your lives like this. And that's the evil part. I mean, like... Like, the video would have us believe, this initial video, that simply being a nuisance is enough to is enough to justify ethnic cleansing. As if these people were some sort of threat, and if there were some sort of threat in that group, that it couldn't be cracked down on by legitimate force. I mean, if they're able to enforce the entire ethnic group of fairy tale creatures to basically leave what might have been their homeland, right, then surely they could use that same force to, without imposing ego, arrest those which do things that are harmful to the general populace, right, to the rest of the people, because they may actually be citizens, or rather, even of the ethnic group of the Julocians, right, they might just be born in a different way, right? So, yeah, no, I think it's pretty clear that regardless of, boomer individualism or whatever, which I think we can all agree has not worked, I think that you're not going to really shift away, even in like a traditional Christian sense, the idea that Lord Farquaad is supposedly some virtuous, self-sacrificing hero.